So, welcome back to one more presentation on embedded platforms for prototyping. In our previous presentation, we have discussed about one of such basic platforms on Arduino Uno, right? So, the Arduino is a very general purpose type of platforms, and we have seen the characteristic features of Arduino Uno and what are its advantages, right? So ease of prototyping, or the flexibility, right? Ease of assembling the modules on the board, then extensible source codes, right? So the hardware open source and extensible using of the modules, shields, and the different other circuits with the open version, and the support from IDE, that is integrated development environment, software modules, codes from the other designers, compatibility, porting. So these are some of the advantages that we have seen as long as your basic Arduino Uno is concerned, right? So today we will discuss about another or a couple of other versions of prototype development platforms. Today we will basically concentrate on Intel Galileo, and if time permits, on Intel Edison as well. Intel Galileo and Edison prototype development platforms. Again, after having seen the Arduino Uno, so now you will be seeing about the different characteristic features that a particular prototype development platform can give you, right? So the basics will remain same. You have the module, maybe something like this. You have the basic module on which your basic processor is built. Along with that, there could be different accessories like the connectivity for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or your GSM, right? So the Ethernet cables, so many such provisions. So that makes this particular system a general purpose computer. Okay, so now when we say that it is a general purpose computer, ultimately you should be able to measure the inputs from the different sensors, right? Process those input, and since you have the capability to connect it to the internet, so it is possible for you to manipulate upon the data whatever you have. You can make use of your cloud service, and finally you can have the overall IoT application built on these things, right? So now when it is possible for you to build your IoT applications here, right? To what extent you will be able to build the IoT applications, that all depends upon what are the different features that you have in this particular system, right? So this is where you have the different variants from one to another. So out of so many things which are available, let us discuss some of the few which are common type of such variants in our discussion. That is what is our basic motto here, and accordingly, after having Arduino Uno, we will now move on to the next one, the Intel Galileo, right? So basically Intel Galileo is based on the Intel Pentium architecture, as you know, right? So Intel Pentium architecture, it includes the features of single threaded, single core and 400 megahertz constant speed processor, and here this is processor, that is Quark SoC X1000. It is one of the the family members, or the one of the types of the processors that your Intel has given. Like so many other processors, you have got P3, P4, P5, 80, right from your 8085, 86, 386, 486. The different versions have come as long as the processors are concerned, and it is the Quark system on chip X100 application processor. Hardware and software pin-to-pin compatible with the shields that designed for Arduino Uno R3 and Arduino IDE. This is a very important point to be noted, right? So we have already spoken about what are the sheets, what are the headers and all, right? So the hardware and software pin to pin compatible with shields that are designed for the Arduino Uno R3 as well as the Arduino IDE environment. That means basically the Intel Galileo board is the first Arduino board based on the Intel architecture, like that you can take, right? So the headers, basically whatever we have discussed, right? So are very much compatible with your Arduino 1.0 pinout models, right? Even your Arduino Uno R3 boards. Basically this provides the ability to use the compatible shields. So whatever the shields that you are going to take for making the connectivity from your Arduino to the external peripherals and all, right? So what you can call it as that modules that you can plug into the headers, right? So you will be able to extend the functionality of the same the shields for the other boards also, right? So very similar to your Arduino Uno, right? It has got 14 digital input output pins, 6 analog inputs, right? A serial port and your in circuit serial programmer header for serial programming. So all those features are available even in your Intel Galileo also, right? So hardware and software pin to pin compatible with shields that are designed for Arduino Uno R3 as well as you can make use of the IDE of Arduino here itself, but it is based on the Intel Pentium architecture. So this is one point to be noted here. Then moving ahead, you can quickly look at these things, right? So one second. Okay, so these are the Intel Galileo structure from the top view. Almost all these embedded computers look alike as long as their structure is concerned. Maybe there are some small differences, like how all the computers and laptops look alike, where their internal configurations and other things are different. Here also, so these embedded computers what we are talking about, so they are also looking almost similar to each other, but you have some major or the basic differences, right? Additional 6-pin ICSP in circuit serial programmer, 3.3 volt USB TTL logic, UART universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter header, USB host port, USB client port. So you should be able to clearly understand what exactly you mean by the host port and the client port, right? Host, basically you can see whatever you have in your computer or something like that. When you insert the USB hub, which can expand, right, get connected to the host, and whenever you have got those expansions, you can connect many of your USB devices, maybe a cable or a pen drive or something like that. Nowadays even you can connect your mobile phones and all, right? So that's what is the basic difference between the host and the client. Clients are these things which I have mentioned. Could it be a pen drive or your mobile phone's connectivity to your computer, but host is basically the one which connects all these things, right? So that is what is the difference between the host port as well as the client port, right? It has got also I2C port, and now if you look here, we have got 6-pin FTDI header. So this FTDI, basically it is a brand, right? Future Technology Device International, right? So it is a brand, 6-pin FTDI header, and you have got USB device port, right? Host USB port, 3 to 5 volt jumper, then you have 7 volt to 15 volt power input. These are all the different specificational aspects of your Galileo board, and you have got optional PoE module location, right? So the optional PoE module, that is power on Ethernet, right? So power on Ethernet means it is a slot for connecting your Ethernet cable. Whenever you have the power on Ethernet, you need not provide any external power source. The same cables carry the electrical signal to power up also. That is the meaning of PoE, right? So you have got the reboot button, right? You have got the real-time clock. You can see here the coin cell connector, right? You must have seen the coin cell, the cells which are like this. You can always synchronize it with the system clock, right? You have got the reset button. So these are some of the basic specifications, right, when you look at the Intel Galileo board. So now if you look at the next diagram, or we will first quickly discuss about all these basic aspects. Intel Galileo development board, types for the IoT devices. So it additionally provides large 8 MB serial peripheral interface flash to store the firmware. So I have already spoken about what exactly is the bootloader, the firmware, and enables the user to incorporate Linux firmware calls in their Arduino sketch programming, right? So basically additional 8 MB serial peripheral interface flash can be provided, so that this particular flash memory can be used to incorporate the bootloader, right? So Intel Galileo Arduino SW IDE and drivers downloadable from Intel community website, right? So similar to how we have discussed about the integrated development environment, as long as the Arduino is concerned, though it is compatible with the Arduino, you can have your own IDEs and drivers as long as the programming of Intel Galileo is concerned, right, from the website of the Intel community, right? So Galileo permits boot off and store drivers in the SD card. As you provide the SD card there, it is possible for you to have the drivers in the SD card itself. Then Galileo 5 supports a set of 30 sensors and accessories for Arduino. The usages can be learned from the demonstration of uses and Linux images. So these are some of the features that your Intel Galileo provides. Again, except some of the specificational values, all other things will remain very much similar what we have seen in your UNO board, your Arduino UNO board, right? So you have got the board, you have got the IDE which is downloadable, you have got the bootloader. So here what happens is the bootloader programming can be embedded into your SD card, so that you can have the boot off. The Galileo permits the boot off, right? So you can store the drivers in the SD card itself. Every time you need not download it from the corresponding websites and all, right? And it supports a set of 30 sensors and accessories for the Arduino application. Here the very word Arduino and the Galileo is being used synonymously, because it is, as I have already told you, the Intel Galileo board is the first Arduino board based on the Intel architecture. So therefore we can definitely make use of this particular word synonymously. Then let me go to the next one. Yeah, this is again important even from your understanding point of view, or even from the examination point of view. Architecture of Intel Galileo Gen 2 board for the advanced computer functionalities with network connectivity for development of IoTs. Whenever we speak about the discussion on these boards, so our ultimate aim will be to deploy some IoT applications, right? So this happens to be a part in our IoT system. And now you can have a quick look at the block diagram here. So maybe it very much resembles the block diagram of your Arduino Uno, which we have taken earlier, with certain specificational changes as it is a different board, right? So you have got 100 Mbps Ethernet point, you have got micro SD slot. As I have already told you just now, you can download your bootloader program here or the drivers here, so that every time you need not connect it to a system before you turn it on. So you can have micro SD connected here. You have got the power slot, right? Then you have got mini PC slot, right? Mini PCIe. Basically this PCI stands for serial communication interface, right? So programmable serial communication interface, and this E stands for express, right? So this allows you to connect a standard modules like your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or SIM card adapters for the cell phones, something like that, right? So this is for the programmable peripheral communication interface express module, right? So this is one which you have not found in case of your Arduino, right? You have got a lithium battery, you have got the slot for the coin type battery here, you have got the reset options, and the reference voltages for IO 5 volts, 3.3, V reference, right? V in analog. So analog input, 6 analog inputs, as I have already told you, which is very much similar to what we have seen in the case of Arduino, right? And again the slots for USB client as well as the host, which I have already told you, right? I2C. So then you have got the system clock, then you have got SDA, that is the serial data, right? So then you have got TWI. This TWI stands for 2-wire interface, right? Then 12 digital input output pins, and also you have got the provision for the pulse width modulation, and again your TXD and RX, the transmit data and receive data, as long as your universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter is concerned, right? So then you have got the button here, and again similar to your Arduino 6-pin in circuit serial programmer you have, right? We have already spoken about the serial programmer, what for it is used, and this is the heart of your Intel Galileo, right? It is a Quark system on chip X1000 application processor, which frequency of 400 megahertz. We have already seen about Arduino, which work frequency of 16 megahertz, whereas your FIO it works with the frequency of 8 megahertz. So that's where you have got the different variants. And coming to the last, that is the memory specifications, as long as your Intel Galileo is concerned. You have got 8 megabytes of the flash memory. You can see compared to your Arduino, you have got a large amount of memory here. Electrically erasable PROM of 11 KB, static RAM of 512 KB, then dynamic RAM of 256 MB. Then you have got the cache memory, right? So all of you must be knowing about what exactly we mean by the cache memory, right? So it is basically for the purpose of not utilizing the main memory frequently, for the purpose of saving the cost, for the purpose of not burdening the system with accessing the contents from the main memory. It is generally located very close to the core, and whenever basically it is used by your CPU, right? The cache memory is used by the CPU for its internal operations, so without having any access to the main memory. So it is a kind of a fast acting memory used by CPU, basically to reduce the use of main memory, right? It is smaller in size as well as it is faster, and generally it is located very close to the core. That's what even in your mobile phones and all you must have come across, right? So what a cache memory is. So you have got a 16 kilobytes of cache memory here. This gives the overall picture or the overall structure of what is the typical architecture of Intel Galileo Generation 2 board, which is for the IoT applications, development of IoT applications with advanced computing functionalities. Now let us look into one more diagram. Okay, before I go into that diagram, right? So now we have already seen architectural point of view of your Intel Galileo. Now next we have the board programming with embedded OS. So how exactly you program using your Galileo, and in what different environments it is possible for us to program the Intel Galileo. The board has the facility of development of the codes on personal computer with board running Linux. Linux is as we have already seen, it's an open source operating system which is very much conducive in almost all the kind of embedded computers, right? The development tools and IDE are at the connected computers. The codes can be run using either Windows or Arduino Linux distribution. This is the operating system which we use for Arduino, as you have already seen, right? The typical Linux or the Mac on the PC or the tablet, media access control on the PC or tablet. These are the different possible operating systems on which you can run the codes. Could it be on the conventional Windows? Could it be on the Arduino Linux distribution, or the Linux which is confined for your Arduino applications, general Linux, or your Mac on either PC or the tablet, right? So you can run these programs or the codes. Then you have the application part. When it comes to the application of the Intel Galileo, right? So the applications making smart things which you use on everyday basis, maybe the health monitoring or the fitness devices, watches, sensors, cameras, all these things we have even seen in the case of maybe the Arduino, but the graphic intensive or the calculation intensive type of applications were not generally run on your the Arduino, but since you have got plenty of memory capacities here compared to Intel, definitely the computation intensive or the graphic intensive type of applications can also be run here. But generally we have the applications for our day-to-day things what we generally come across in our IoT scenario. Maybe what we have mentioned here, health monitoring system or fitness devices, wrist watches, the smart watches, what we call sensors and cameras, right? So these are some of the typical applications of your Intel Galileo board. Then the features, the general features, what we can quickly look at as long as the Intel boards are concerned. Ease of prototyping, right? We have already seen this even in the case of Arduino also. Basically this is also a kind of Arduino board only, right, with single board computation and support from the networking, right? Then you have got Node.js. So I don't know whether you have heard about this or not. So it is basically an open source application. This Node.js is an open source application based on your JavaScript for both the front end as well as the back end applications. It is an open source, and you have got the C programs, right? Arduino codes, open extensible source codes, schematics, softwares, middlewares, and IDE. So using all this, right, it is possible for the Intel boards can be used to develop the codes using all these platforms. Could it be a Node.js or C programming, right? Arduino codes, open extensible source codes, and schematics, software, middleware, IDE, and all. Programmability, number of times downloading the codes through USB ports that enable the number of times down during the edit, test, and debugging cycle. The same thing even we have seen in the case of Arduino also. The similar features you can have for Intel boards as well, right? So this is the second thing. Then specifically if you look at the Galileo board, that is for the general purpose, the Intel embedded computers. But specifically, if you look at of the Galileo boards, open board 8 MB, nor flash, IO reference of 5 volts, IO reference to the shield in place of 3 volts IOs, 12-bit pulse width modulation, console UART1, redirection to Arduino compatible headers, integrated real-time clock. So all these things come under the specifications, which I have already made a mention earlier. It is given in a slightly different manner here, right? So you have got integrated real-time clock, right? So basically this the real-time clocks are used to synchronize the data between the modules using the boards, right? So now you can use Arduino time library, right? So basically using this real-time clock, using the Arduino time library, you can add timekeeping functionality to your program. Timekeeping functionality in the sense you can use the library, time library. What do you mean by time library here is, so you can have, whenever you write some codes, right, in what time these the codes are to be executed, right? So something called as, I don't know whether you have heard about this, something called as the watchdog timer. So watchdog timer in the sense, basically, second, whenever you run some application, okay, so whenever you run some instructions, so they are supposed to be completed within a specific time period, right? Due to some reason, if it takes too much of time, right, so these watchdog timers will come into picture, and they will make sure that the the programmer or the system is indicated about these delays and all whenever you are running a real-time program and all, right? So for such purpose you are making use of this the real-time clock, right? So and even the wireless projects, right, can be synchronized in real time, right? So something called as network time protocol, right, or using your GPS system, the global positioning system time data, right, to preserve time between the system resets. You can definitely make use of some I think I have already made a mention about that, that is your coin type batteries, which you can incorporate. Yeah, here you can see here. So basically this can be used, right? So one thing is that you are using the real-time clock, okay, and if at all you want to preserve the time between the system resets, right, whenever you have got the system reset, so basically use your battery, you can always have the synchronization with the system clock, right? So basically this is used to what you can call as now one example I will give you. When something is being operated, now for example you have your mobile phone, right? So the mobile phones basically work with the system clock, because all the mobile phones will show the same timing, right? Suppose if you have switched it off, what exactly happens, right? So there will be an internal battery which will always keep track about the system clock, right, as long as that particular battery is charged. If it is switched off for a very long time, then the situation is different, right? It needs to be reset. But if it is switched off for a short period of time, whenever you switch on, again it is possible for you to get connected with the system clock. So that is what is the meaning of this, right? So it is possible to preserve the time between the system resets by adding coils cell battery to the Intel Galileo board. So generally it is already incorporated with that, right? So even when the network is disconnected, it is possible for you to synchronize it again when this system is connected back. Okay, so these are some of features of typical Galileo board. Reset button to reset the sketch and any attached shields. 12 volt power over Ethernet. This also I think I have already told you, right? Capability, a power regulation system that accepts the power supply between 7 volt to 15 volts. A reset button to reset the sketch and any attached shields. And yeah, this is about the Intel Galileo board, right? So basically a quick, if you want to quickly recall or summarize these things, basically it is the Arduino board only based on the Intel architecture. So it is on Quark system on chip X1000 processor, which works with we have already seen at what frequency it works. I think it is 600. One second. Yeah, 400 megahertz. So I just, it is working with a frequency of 400 megahertz, right? And you have got the 10 MB Ethernet port, so which allows your Intel Galileo to work with the wired networks also, right? So once you are connected to the internet, any kind of operation or any kind of manipulation, right, so is possible when you develop an IoT application, right? So you have got a PCI Express slot. We have already spoken about that. So this one, PCI Express slot, basically this allows you to connect the standard modules like your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and even SIM card adapter for the cell phones, and you have the real-time clock, right? So the real-time clock allows you to have the system synchronization with the other things, and by having a backup of a lithium battery, it is possible for you to preserve the time between system resets. That's also we have seen. And you have got the slot for the micro SD, right? So this also we can see you can have the connection up to 2 GB. This is another important feature which I have not mentioned earlier. You can have up to 32 GB storage possible, right? So and because of this, it is possible for you to download your bootloaders and other drivers, so that every time you need not connect it to the system before this particular Galileo board is started up, right? So it is making use of the Linux, as we have already seen, and it supports the programming languages like the Python or even Node.js, right? So something called as OpenCV. All these things are being supported by Intel Galileo board, right? So but as of now, right, so since the Raspberry Pi has become one of the most popular types of embedded computers, these things, like whatever I have discussed, right, so they are slightly overshadowed, right? So therefore probably we will not be able to have much discussions on these boards. So let us see, based on our requirement, we can have the option to select any kind of board we want. Okay, so then the next one from this Intel family is the Intel Edison. As you can see here, Intel Edison. Now after having seen your basic computer, that is the embedded computer, that is Arduino Uno and Intel Galileo, so this is the third version which we can have. Maybe when you look at these things, you should be able to understand how exactly this Intel Edison is different from its other counterparts. A high performance computation and communication module, as you can see, includes advanced core in the SoC, that is dual core dual thread Intel Atom x86, it could be 386, 486, right? That kind of the processors. CPU which is running 500 megahertz, right? It's a dual core, and it is based on the Atom. We have seen in the case of Intel Galileo, it is based on the Quark, right? Here it is based on the Atom 086. There it was Q.
Running at 500 megahertz. So that was having the maximum frequency of 400 megahertz, right? It has got, see here, 1 gigabytes of RAM. It includes Wi-Fi and Bluetooth LE communication and interfaces. Again, all our predecessors, what we have discussed, they do have this feature. Interface enables seamless device internetworking and device to cloud communication, enables rapid prototyping development, produce IoT and wearable computing devices, right? So these are some of the basic and important characteristic features of your Intel Edison, right? So it is basically a system on chip, and it is having the integrated Wi-Fi, Bluetooth LE, right? And again, you can have it supports your Linux, Python or Node.js, right? Something called as Wolfram. These are all some of the programming environments wherein you can write your programs and all, right? So now let us look into some more aspects of Intel Edison. It can be used for compatibility with Arduino board as well as independently with smaller form factor board. I have already told you what exactly is the smaller form factor, right? So I mean, in a smaller area, you try to incorporate more number of the components and all. So that is called as the smaller form factor. Smaller form factor is always better in terms of the hardware design of the system, right? So it is again, of course, the designer's headache, but as an end user, you would always prefer to use boards with smaller form factors, right? Enables creation of the prototypes and fast development of prototyping projects. Then you can look at this particular diagram, which gives you some idea about the different connectivities that your Intel Edison has, right? So again, as you can see here, you have got analog input, the power pins, then again you have got the jumpers, right, which to select the shield operation, either it is for 3.3 volts or 5 volts, right? So you have got the power supply values here, right, 7 to 15 volts. Then you have got the different connectivities, as we have seen in case of its other counterparts, right? It has got SD connector, then it has got USB on the go, UART, right? So all these things need not be studied from the point of view of examination with the help of this diagram. So what you need to do is you need to understand what are the different components that you can have in a typical Intel Edison embedded computing hardware, right? So please have a look at this, and probably we can slightly zoom these things so that you can clearly understand and you should be able to read what exactly you have. So you have got the general purpose input and output, pulse width modulation, serial peripheral interfaces, right? So then you have but here you got one host and two clients here. The
as well as Galileo. Then we shall many of the features that your Edison exhibits, they are very much suitable or conducive for your application layer protocols, right, or the application layer activities in your IoT scenario. So how exactly it helps in collecting, storing, and process the data in the cloud, how exactly it triggers the alert, right, for your OLAP, OLTP data streams. That all you will be able to know only when you use it and program it for your particular application. So since we are discussing about the general aspects of your Intel Edison feature, please try to understand that it is the enhanced version, slightly enhanced version of either your Arduino Uno or even your Intel Galileo, by virtue of the enhanced on-chip features that this particular board possesses, right? So only that much is sufficient for you to understand as of now. Then we go to the next aspect. We will stop here because I would cover the Raspberry Pi in my next presentation, right? So now when you discuss about this Intel boards, one is the Galileo and another is the Edison, right? So please try to make the clear differences in terms of at least some specifications, right? So what specification it has got? So 400 megahertz there in your Galileo, 500 megahertz here. Then you may have some of the additional features like your 4 GB flash storage is here, which I have not mentioned, right? So 1 GB RAM, 4 GB flash storage, right? So this is another additional feature as long as your Intel Edison is concerned, right? So and mostly this is useful whenever you have got the online transaction process and online analytical process. So its structure or its online features are conducive for you to run those kind of applications, right? So and when you have the comparison of all these things, so probably similar to how we have made the comparison between your communication technologies, different communication technologies like your near field, RFID, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, wireless LAN and all. So then after having made those comparisons, you will be able to understand what are the individual characteristic features of all these boards. Okay, so now with this I will stop now, and in my next presentation let me come out with one more important computer, that is the embedded computer, that is the Raspberry Pi. Again I repeat, if you have programming knowledge on Python and if you have a Raspberry Pi with you, definitely you can materialize so many type of IoT applications, right? So right from the simplest application to even the complex applications you should be able to materialize, right? So with that I will stop, and if you have any doubt or clarifications, you please get back to me now. Okay, thank you.